Hello everyone, my name is Charity. I'm here today to discuss opioid addiction, the current epidemic that we are struggling with, and more specifically, a little bit about fentanyl. I also want to tell you about an online course that's available, free to the public. In order to become a community first responder, this course teaches you how to recognize and respond to signs and symptoms of an opioid overdose and how to administer Naloxone that could potentially save a life. I bet most of us in this audience and here today have been exposed or know someone who has been exposed to an opioid addiction or is struggling with that currently. It's become so prevalent, unfortunately. I know the hospital in which I work, we see opioid overdoses all too often. One that sticks out in particular in my mind is a man that came in several months ago, just thought he smoked some marijuana, and unfortunately it happened to be laced with some fentanyl, and he later passed away from an overdose to fentanyl. There are two types of fentanyl. One is the pharmaceutical fentanyl, and that's the fentanyl that is prescribed by your physician for pain management, or what's used in the hospitals, in the OR, in the ICU, used for sedation or pain management. Could use patches, what have you. The other type of fentanyl is illicitly manufactured, and that's what's being used on the streets recreationally. 150 people or more die every day from opioid overdose. And more of those people, there's fentanyl involved. And fentanyl is fatal in the smallest of doses. One, like I mentioned, with things being laced, one wouldn't even know if it was in a different drug. Just small amounts, and you wouldn't even see it. And that could be fatal. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to pull up now just a graph right here. And you can see in that graph, that red line is fentanyl more and more each year, and the years between 2015 to 2020, it really skyrocketed. And overdoses are happening because fentanyl is so cheap, and it's being put into all kinds of other drugs to make it more bulk. It's so potent, so it's stronger, so people need less, so they're making more money, unfortunately, on that. I'm going to share a quick video with you right now.
The drug landscape has changed. Illegal fentanyl has made its way into the drug supply, and it's a danger you might not see coming. A synthetic opioid up to 50 times stronger than heroin, up to 100 times stronger than morphine. It only takes the tiniest amount to cause a fatal overdose. A fraction of a raindrop, or 3 grains of salt. Your drugs don't come with an ingredients list. Although fentanyl is being mixed into almost every kind of drug, you wouldn't be able to see it, or smell it, or taste it. Fentanyl is one of the most common drugs involved in overdose deaths. Know the dangers. Learn the facts about fentanyl and ways to protect yourself at cdc.gov/stop-overdose.
Next, I'd like to discuss some of the things that are in this online course that it teaches you, some common signs, first off, of an opioid overdose. If somebody is thought to have an overdose, they're probably not breathing, or their respirations are gasping or gurgling. Something's off with the respirations. They might be pale, skin clammy, maybe even a little bit cyanotic, maybe the lips or nail beds, and just not responding, not able to respond, or not quite right. So some of the people also that are at higher risk for a bad reaction to opioids are those who have a history of substance abuse. Okay. Also those who use opioids for chronic pain management, especially those who use opioids and then use it with something else like benzodiazepines and alcohol, more things that can depress the respiratory system. So then you're more likely to have a bad reaction to the opioids. So when responding, if you see someone that you may think is having an opioid overdose, they're not responding. When you approach them, you want to attempt to wake them. If they're not waking, then you want to call 911. At that point, if you have naloxone, hopefully you have naloxone on hand and you administer the naloxone. CPR might be needed. Otherwise, you can put someone in the recovery position, put them just on their side in case of vomiting or anything else, and wait for help to arrive. That's pretty much what you would do on the street. Now, I want to show you how to administer naloxone. Naloxone, it will come in this box here. Narcan is the brand name, Naloxone. And when you open it, it has some instruction right inside the flap here. Okay. And it comes in packaging just like this. So when administering naloxone nasal spray, simply, it looks like this. And you just put this tip here in the patient's nasal, right in the nair here, and you push on this plunger, this pink plunger here. You push on that plunger real hard, and it's going to pop. You're going to hear it, and that's really it. That's simply it. And that's how you administer naloxone nasal spray. So today I've given you some facts about opioids and especially fentanyl. I have told you about a community course online available to the public, and I summarized that a little bit. And now I'd like to know from you out here today, how many of you will go home and take this course to become a community first responder and recognize these signs and symptoms more. And add a little bit to that, how many of you will recommend a friend to do so as well? This can all help and save a life. You can get some free Narcan mailed to you, comes in the nasal spray form. You can get that and have that on hand. Keep it in your car. Has to be cool and dry, but keep it on or nearby where there's that potential, and you may help to save a life as well. Thank you for watching.